Had it do Exiles 3.27. Teaser season is upon us. I took it upon myself to ask my brother and my really good friend Moka, brother from another mother, what they want to see predictions for 3.27. I have the list here. We're going to go through them as briefly as we can. So class and skill balance. This is Bigu's list up here. Class and skill balance, big one. I definitely foresee a trickster nerf yet again, and or an ES nerf. That's my prediction for the league. I share the sentiment of their list, so I'm not going to really give my own. I think ES is definitely going to get nerfed. I would like to see them bring life up. I just don't know if they're actually going to do that. I mean, I think in an ideal situation, life comes up and ES goes down, and those on the left win. Those on the right kind of lose a little bit, and I think that's okay. I think that kind of needs to happen. Skill balance, there's still so many skills that were tweaked or buffed or had their quality changed, but they're just still so massively underutilized, and you know that needs to be addressed in a big way. You have this cornucopia of skills and just nobody uses them, right? So let's take a step back and let's think, why are they not using them? What is causing this discrepancy? You know, everyone was using lightning strike, but nobody was using skill X, right? And we need to figure that out, because there's a lot of great skills out there. We need to make them great, because we need a little bit more build diversity. I realize we had a lot of build diversity at 3.27, but just because that's the case doesn't mean that the work is finished. You feel me? This next one, we literally just spoke about it. I would like to see the left side of the tree defenses get buffed, and or the left side and then the right side either stay the same or go down a little bit. Perhaps deflection comes into the game, perhaps not. I don't think that they're going to introduce something that mechanically big in 3.27, especially if they're introducing a lot of other large things. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, life needs love. It is so easy to get 20k plus ES on the right side of the tree as trickster. I mean, it's laughable. Whereas it takes significantly more investment, and you're not nearly as tanky trying to get that much life on the right side of the tree. 10k life, pretty easy to hit. 15, a little bit harder. 20 is significant, right? Whereas 20k ES, yeah, I mean, it's really not an issue. It's like you can do it in your sleep. It's very simple. And so there's just a bit too big of a gap there, and we need to close that. The left side of the tree needs some love, some big love. T17 mod rework, yes, with the introduction of 16 and a half. Like, why am I doing T17s other than challenges? They're annoying to roll. They're annoying to run. The mods are hyper oppressive. It feels bad. Like, they were just, in my opinion, one of the worst things that they've ever introduced into the in-game. 16.5s are fantastic. They're great. It's a good mix of chill mods with like oppressive mods. Whereas T17 is like, I'm going to tie you down and beat you with a stick, and you're still going to have to play, but you're going to be oppressed. I just hate it. It's not fun. It's not fun. And with the introduction of 16 and a half, I don't see any reason to run it other than challenges. They're essentially an afterthought. And I would only collect the maps to sell them to a person that wants to, for some reason, run them, because they have some currency strat that some streamer came out with. Right. So that's kind of, I understand his sentiment. Assassin rework. I mean, this has been a long time coming. This is like, you probably wanted just as much as like Boat League, even though we kind of had a pseudo Boat League with King's March. But Assassin is like a 0.1 play rate for like the last 7 or 8 leagues, honestly. Like, it is high time that we have a new Ascendancy. And whether that's a rework of the existing Ascendancy to bring it up to line with modern PoE standards, or completely chucking it and going with a brand new, unique Ascendancy that we've never seen. Either one works, as long as in 3.27, Assassination does not remain the same that it was, because it's got to go. It's time. It's time. Trickster's had its reign. All right. There's no reason to play Assassin when Trickster exists. That's a big problem. You have all these Ascendancies and just one that's just nobody plays. It's weird. Mercs go core. I personally don't think it's going to go core. That's Evan and Moga's prediction. They both, I think, believe that it's going to go core. I don't think it will. And if it does, Doriani's with Mercs cannot be a thing. Because then the default build is going to have to be lightning based. Because if it's not, you're essentially leaving millions and millions and millions and millions of damage on the field that you just can't utilize because your Merc isn't using Doriani's. So if Mercs were to go core, two things need to happen. It cannot be able to use Doriani's prototype. It just has to be banned outright from Merc ever using it. And we have to have more than 3. I'm not investing heavily into 3 Mercs and then deciding to make a 4th character and then deleting one of the Mercs in lieu of another one. No, that feels bad. If Mercs are going to go core, you got to cater to everyone. Those that make 1 character and those that make 10, right? I mean, it is what it is. But the limit of 3, it's got to go. Moga's list, asynchronous trade. I'm pretty sure they said it is for sure coming to PoE 1. However, I don't know if it'll be in 3.27. 4 months, I mean, that's a pretty big gap to get something done. But asynchronous trade, I mean, it's got to be pretty spot on day 1, right? Trading happens the first day. And if the trading does not have every kink worked out and every bug fixed, then it's going to be a nightmare. For all intents and purposes, PoE 2, it ended up being really good. There was some minor issues, I think, but for the most part, went off without a hitch. PoE 1 might be different, right? I'm not really sure what they need to do to make it work. I would like to see it in, and I'll tell you now, if it does come in 3.27, we're going to see the biggest transfer of wealth from top to bottom that we've ever seen, right? Those people that were not able to make very much currency, they are going to see the fruits of their labor in the snap of a finger. Those that trade understand, like when I trade, I don't typically trade chess pieces. I know this because I've done leagues and leagues of not really selling high-end chess pieces unless they're perfect. Absolutely perfect. And there's just tips and tricks and things that you know and you don't know when you're trading that you understand with experience. And that just comes with time. But with asynchronous trade, you don't, like, it takes the middleman out and you can just do everything really quick. Oh, this isn't sold, this isn't sold, this isn't sold, this sold. And everything is just much more expedited and you learn faster, you experience quicker. And those that weren't able to make a lot of money, they're going to be making a lot more. And that means they're going to contribute to the economy quicker, right? At a much more accelerated rate than they were able to previously, right? And so I think asynchronous trade in PoE 1 is going to be one of the best additions that the game has seen since it's launched. Full stop. It's going to be incredible. Let's see. Tiered currency, I don't know. I don't know if I see this coming into PoE 1. The only reason it was in PoE 2 is because PoE 2 needed to broaden its crafting horizons, quote unquote. But PoE 1 is already solidified in its crafting. And, you know, I think the reason why Moka wanted this is to reduce the spamming alt cringe, because it is kind of lame to just sit there and absolutely spam for hours trying to find the Merc Fizz, the T1 Fizz mod, or whatever low weight mod that you want to find. And it's very annoying. It's cringe. It's lame. It's just anti-fun. So I get why he wants to, but I don't know if I see it coming to PoE 1. But if it did, I wouldn't be unhappy about it. It would certainly add a lot more value to your currency tab. That I know for sure. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, especially with how in-depth crafting is in PoE 1. I think tiered currency might actually be a pretty nice addition. But that's just on like face value. Like, I haven't done any kind of research. That's just off the top of my head. Self-cast buffs. Yes, they were buffed in 3.26, albeit to a minor degree. When I saw the bus, I wasn't thinking like, oh my god, I'm playing self-cast, expel. There's just no doubt in my mind. And when I'm looking at buffs, like that's kind of how I want to feel. Honestly, I don't really feel the urge to play self-cast when other stuff exists that's just objectively better in every way, shape, and form. So self-casts are not where they need to be, but they are better than what they were previous to 3.26. Gold made trivial. Yeah, if you just simply mapping, yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand his sentiment, and I do agree with it. And I think kind of what he's getting at, correct me if I'm wrong, Mocha, but like if you decide to do King's March, you are essentially deciding to be a gold farmer. Your life is now, how can I efficiently farm the maximum gold per hour, right? Between farming, mining, map devices, and shipping. Yeah, you're going to need a crap ton of gold. And that's kind of what's kind of pushed me back from doing a lot of the King's March stuff. Is I like to do a bunch of things. I like to change things constantly, and I don't have the patience to sit there and maximize my gold farm. It's just not fun for me. And I think to a certain extent, for those that are doing it, it ends up being more of a tedious thing for them. So I would like to see the gold requirements or the entry point or even the sustain to be lessened to a pretty large degree, right? I think if I had it my way, gold would be there for Faustus, gambling, and respecking, and then a minor entry point into mapping and shipping and farming and mining and all that good stuff. But that's just me. I'm not the game developer, so who knows how hard it is to kind of balance King's March, because you can make an insane amount of money on that mechanic. So like everything else, it's a give and take. Mana cost revisiting. He didn't really elaborate too much on this, but one thing that I would say is it would be nice to have more options to satisfy mana requirements, especially early game when you're especially weak and you're very much beholden to mana flasks. Besides rushing to a mana leech and or getting enough mana regen. Now this is partly solved if you're in the north part of the tree by getting the lightning golem. There's some pretty healthy mana leech nodes in the south side of the tree, but the left and the right somewhat hung out to dry to a small degree. It needs a little bit of work, especially for melee. Some of the mana cost for melee is a bit egregious, even at low levels still. And I think it could use a bit more of a tweak. Better rune graphs, more unique rune graphs. I don't know. I wouldn't say that they necessarily need to be build enabling. But something for some better build diversity. Just as something they can sprinkle on at the end of the reveal. Something that we can find out on our own. They're not going to tell us anything. I think would be a lot of fun for 3.27. I really love things like that they just add. And they're like, we're going to let you figure this out. You're going to get to see what it is, and we're not going to tell you. I live for that stuff. That stuff is so much fun, and it creates hype. And the point is that they're trying. Either they hit a home run or they fall flat. Either way, I think it's worth trying. Moga would like to see them removing the fragment bias from T17 and or allow orbs of Horizon to be used on T17s. I don't think either of these are going to be implemented in any way, shape, or form. T17s are there to do Ubers. That's where you get your Uber fragments. I don't think that's going to change. I don't even think it's going to get tweaked in any way. And if they allow Horizons, everyone's just going to do the one map that's the best map of the T17s. Which I can't remember off the top of my head. Somebody say it in the comments. If you know anything about the Endgame, you're going to know what it is. Correct me. But I would be okay with the Horizon. I just don't think it's going to happen. See, Risk nerf. Risk has got to go. Risk is, I am so tired of not having like one of the upper echelon niche builds that can do every single mod in the game. And the fact that Risk just scales just astronomically with juicing, you're just cut off. You're just completely nerfed from ever doing any kind of risk strategy because the build that you happen to choose that league can't run risk. And it's a real feels bad. And so you have people that are playing a certain build that can do risk, and they're just like growing in wealth exponentially, where everyone else is just like eating porridge, right? So it's just kind of anti-fun. It's a little too big for its britches, I think, right now, and it needs to come down a little bit. Assassin rework, we already talked about that. Betrayal tweaks, I understand Moka's sentiment. I do like the betrayal rework, but he does have a point that it's really just there for medallion and veiled exalt farming. That is the sole purpose to do betrayal now. Whereas before, you worked the board to get the betrayal members that you needed. Especially in SSF, it was very, very, very strong in SSF, betrayal was. You could do a plethora of things. You could farm scarabs, you could get quality, you could get uniques, special crafting options. There's just, the sky was the limit. Betrayal was, if you had the knowledge, betrayal was very powerful. Whereas now, I think people are looking at it more of a currency farmer, be it medallions to sell to boss runners and or boss runners buying medallions to try and get veiled exalt, right? So I would like to see the core members be kind of reworked a little bit and have some value added to them, because there was some value taken away, right? Because now the boss has so much value now, right? Especially with some of the buffs to the uniques that come specifically from Katarina. So I can understand. I don't know if it's necessarily going to happen. I don't think I ever remember a league where they buffed or reworked a mechanic, and the next league they did more tweaks to it. There may be one or two situations. I just don't see them doing it here. And then last but not least, Moka's hot take, specifically hot take, was that Abyssal Lich was in the game, was in game test for alternate ascendancies to allow Frisia ascendancies to be chosen alongside classic ascendancies with a quest. It's an interesting idea. It could definitely spice up the meta a little bit if they were to allow something like that. I think the balance would be just insane if I'm thinking about what he's saying correctly. One thing that I kind of think would be kind of fun is just getting rid of Assassin completely, doing some kind of a Frisia free-for-all on Assassin. Maybe not like instead of a totally unique ascendancy, just do one of the Frisia's ascendancies and bring one of those core. I think that could be kind of fun. Either way, Assassin's got to go. It's time. It's time. Our boy's been off at boarding school. He's about to graduate and come home, go to college. It's time for Assassin to grow up. It's like a baby. A baby that we stunted its growth by buffing every other ascendancy except for Assassin. And now everything is Trickster. So y'all, that's all we have for this prediction video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this type of content, do all the good things. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. 3.27 is right around the corner. Teaser season is upon us this week, boys and girls. I'll see y'all in the next one. Be good, take care of yourselves, and God bless.